driving a meat-coated skeleton made from stardust, riding this big blazing rock, hurling through space at 8,000 miles per second. Fear nothing. What is there to fear on this planet? When you look at life this way, you have to change your perspective. You have to change your point of view of the scenario. You rise above what is at the time can be very intense, can be very real, but that 5 years from now, look back 5 years ago, and generally there can be a few exceptions. Maybe that's what you want to challenge me on. 5 years ago, what was the biggest torment in your life is something you laugh about today. So when you look at what's tormenting you today, this last in a series of fear, and adrenaline, and I don't know that I can do this. The thing, the thought, the software, the emotion, the feeling, whatever it is that's holding you back, to unleash the Kraken. Unleash the Kraken! And really tap into that greatness that you have, those drivers, those desires that you have. We know you'll do it in a heroic moment. You're driving by an accident, you see a burning building, you see a car trapped on an infant, you see someone in trouble, your family, maybe it's not an emergency, maybe it's chronic, maybe it's time, you don't have any money, you tell yourself you don't have money to do something, and then your sibling or your parents need something. You tap into that software and you figure it out. So when we really look at what is this thing that holds you back, and I could almost give you some time and some writing music, and you could write and you could journal and you could reflect. If you've never done that, do that another time. But when I say what holds you back, there are some people that are going like, hey, you're assuming something. You're assuming that I'm back, that I'm less than. No, I'm not, because sometimes these are my best clients because, one, they tend to have a lot of money and they can afford me. And two, they look for any tiny little edge that this technology can give them. And they are leaders. So even if you understand this yourself, generally you have a hard time teaching it because you're like, hey, come on, people, just do the things I do, be great. You can do this. And two, you are the person that needs more, that you are held back. Those are the two targets that we're talking to tonight. So one, what holds you back? Does it lie in the IQ realm? What that means is, is there a reason? Oh, well, here's a reason. There's logic, there's facts, this is what I've tried, this is what I haven't, this is what I know, this is what I'm certain of. There's truth here. You're just being realistic, like, hey, who wants to dream crazy? Crazy's for crazy. I'm realistic. The equations that I'm running about, to what point, at what point, life has a little more caution than it does bold for you because you're more concerned with your safe driving record than avoiding a crash than you are at really, really being a winner. Because, winning requires almost certainly learning to crash so that you can go fast enough to win. So you've got a great safe driving record. And hey, by the way, Bill, it's above average. So this is pretty good for me. It's a very rational person I'm talking to. Now, it could be what's holding you back's in the EQ realm. You can feel this thing. You feel it really intensely. It might even have a terrifying, frightening aspect, and terrified of what? What's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, go back to you're a ghost driving a stardust skeleton covered in meat. What are you terrified of? What's the worst is not the worst, I don't think. There's there's just this overwhelming gut instinct that just pulling me in another direction. I'm not feeling like I can do this. And it is a body pain almost. It might be in the metaphysical realm. So whether that's spiritual, whether that's religion, whether that's law of attraction based, whatever is metaphysical to you, because this is the inevitable you. But it might be in that realm because, you may not be wired to destiny. There's not a lot of people that talk about their destiny, that use it in everyday language, that think about it, dream about it, act on it. One of my second question in my model of the world exercise, I said, what's the purpose of your life? Why are you here? 85% flat out will tell me, I don't know. I don't know. And the other, let's say 10 or 12%, kind of give me a very lukewarm, a very watered down, well, I think it's kind of this. It's like 5%. It's like, oh, I have a mission. I know why I'm here. For most people, it's not what holds them back as much as, what their life really consists of. It's routine. It's overwhelming. I get it. It's hard to pay bills. It's hard to go to work every day. It's hard to take care of kids and your responsibility. And on the weekends, you got to run errands and mow lawns. And, this isn't easy, Bill. I get that. So you time travel to a day. This is great software. You can daydream. You talk with your spouse, your buddies. Hey, yeah, well, one day, and it's going to be soon, 10 years. Yeah, then the kids are grown, or 10, 15 years, or 5 years. I'm getting close. I've been at this for 20 years, so I'm already looking at retirement. I can time travel today. Oh, then I'll have time for my destiny. Right now, blah, 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 blah. And at some neuro-linguistic programming level, your toolbox on this side of the equation, the power tools, the I have a dream speech, you're in a towards base. And by the way, this has to be in the 10. This has to be in those driven, intense, stress moments, because it's only here that you grow. And it's only here that your gold medal awaits you. So you've got to have on your power side of your power toolbox, the masterpiece psychology. We've done that in other calls. Epic is just not a word that you use. Brian and I were joking today because I have the standard that 9 generations have to know by name Barbara and I. That's how I do any programming moment. So Barbara and I were having a little spit, and he was laughing. He goes, "Lad, you guys are so funny." I go, "Wait." I go, 9 generations from now, they're going to tell this moment at the kitchen table. And I did it facetiously, but epic is just not a word in your toolbox. You don't have failure-based software that failure is lessons and wisdom and success, or you know it to be true, but you don't feel it. So now we're starting to mix up the realms. And I could go on and on and on. This is almost all day 2 of the Inevitable Leader course. So there's a few of you on this call that's going to be there. Had the last call, you're really going to want to watch the video of that webinar tonight. That is 25 minutes of bomb diggity content. But in day 2, We spent a whole day on this, but now for tonight, it's your time. Why are you here? Why are you here in this life? Why are you here on this call? You know, and what's it going to take to ignite more of you? You know, we've got a good fire burning for some of you. You know, we want to put light or JP4 fluid on it. We want to blow this fire up.